For 20 years, Amazon made almost no money. On purpose. They lost $27.7 million in their first year, and then averaged just 0.4% profit for the next 16. Wall Street called it insane. They called it the long game. This isn't the story of a company that failed to make money. It's the story of a company that deliberately chose not to, in order to build a business so dominant no competitor could ever touch it. When Amazon went public in 1997, it was valued at just $438 million. In its first full year as a public company, it reported a net loss of $27.7 million. That loss was just the beginning. From 1998 all the way to 2014, Amazon's average annual net profit margin was about 0.4%. For context, most healthy businesses aim for 10% or higher. Amazon was playing a completely different sport. So where was all the money going? Jeff Bezos explained it himself in his 2003 shareholder letter, a document that has become legendary in business circles. He laid out the philosophy that would define Amazon for decades. He wrote that Amazon would make bold, not timid investments where they saw a probability of gaining market leadership. Some would pay off, others would not. But the goal was always long-term dominance, not short-term profit. The first piece of the puzzle was Prime. Launched in 2005, it offered unlimited 2-day shipping for a flat annual fee. The goal wasn't to make money on the subscription itself. It was to lock in loyalty and make Amazon the default for everything. Then came the infrastructure. Amazon poured billions into building a network of fulfillment centers, delivery stations, and its own cargo planes. This massive logistics machine became a nearly impossible barrier for any competitor to replicate. While the retail side was running on fumes, reinvesting every dollar, a secret weapon was growing inside the company. It started in 2006, but the world didn't fully understand its importance until almost a decade later. This was Amazon Web Services, or AWS. It took the infrastructure Amazon built for its own online store and rented it out to other companies as cloud competing services. It was a side project that would become the company's profit engine. For years, Amazon kept AWS's financials hidden within its retail results. This made the entire company look unprofitable, masking the true power of what they had built. The media and Wall Street had no idea what was really happening. Then, in the first quarter of 2015, Amazon finally broke out AWS as a separate segment. The numbers stunned everyone. AWS wasn't just profitable, it was wildly profitable, on a scale that dwarfed the retail business. In 2015, AWS generated $1.57 billion in operating income. Compare that to Amazon's entire North American retail business, which made just $1.38 billion. A side project was now more profitable than the core company. The margin difference was even more stark. While Amazon's retail operations typically ran on razor-thin 3 to 5% margins, AWS was operating at over 25%. It was like printing money. By 2018, AWS's growth was explosive. It had hit a $10 billion annual run rate and was contributing over $7 billion to Amazon's total operating income. The cloud division was now the company's financial backbone, and AWS just kept accelerating. Its operating income skyrocketed from $1.6 billion in 2015 to nearly $25 billion by 2023. It became a profit machine on an almost unimaginable scale. Its operating margin also consistently improved, climbing from around 25% to over 30%. This high-margin profit engine was now effectively subsidizing the low-margin retail side of the business. The 2023 numbers tell the whole story. AWS represented only 17% of Amazon's total sales, but it generated a staggering 62% of the company's total operating income. The profitless company was now highly profitable, thanks to its secret weapon. But the reinvestment strategy didn't just create AWS. It also allowed Amazon to conquer another massive market: online advertising. This segment grew almost invisibly from $1.7 billion in 2014 to over $37 billion in 2021. The entire strategy came together in 2021. Propelled by pandemic demand, AWS profits, and a booming ad business, Amazon finally reported a massive annual net income: $21.3 billion. The profitless company had turned into a cash-generating juggernaut. Looking back, the genius is clear. Amazon lost money for decades to build an unrivaled retail machine, then spun off that machine's infrastructure into the world's dominant cloud platform. AWS then printed the profits that allowed Amazon to double down on retail, logistics, and new ventures like advertising. The low-margin business was protected by the high-margin one, creating a perfect cycle of dominance. The lesson here isn't just about patience. It's about the power of a strategic, long-term view. While competitors were optimizing for quarterly earnings, Amazon was building a fortress. By the time anyone realized how much money AWS was making, it was far too late to compete. The profitless model wasn't a failure. It was a Trojan horse. It showed that a company could burn cash for years, as long as that cash was building an unassailable moat. And in the end, the moat itself would generate more profit than the original business ever could. So next time you see a tech company running at a loss, ask yourself, are they failing? Or are they following the Amazon playbook? Because the most dangerous companies aren't the ones making money today. They're the ones building the future.